Are you considering relocating to Florida? Today I'm talking with Kim Devlin and we are talking about relocating to Florida in the St. Johns County. You don't want to miss this one. We're starting right now. My name is Carrie Janicus and I'm a realtor in Chicago's southwest suburbs. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Please consider hitting the subscribe button down below and the notification bell to be notified of any new videos that I post. I post new videos every week and I wouldn't want you to miss out. If you've been here before, thank you so much for joining me again. Make sure you stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you details how to download my Relocating to Florida guide. This is one you definitely don't want to miss if you are considering relocating to Florida. I am here today with Kim and we are talking about relocating to Florida. Kim, thank you so much for joining me today. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and the areas that you serve?
Sure. So my name is Kim Devlin. I work with Remax Leading Edge in St. Augustine, Florida. That's the northeast portion of Florida. And I service all of St. Johns County. So St. Augustine falls into St. Johns County, but St. Johns County is pretty big. It also includes Ponte. And I will go down to the Palm Coast as well, more the northern section of the Palm Coast. And I do service some of Jacksonville. Jacksonville is very big, but I only do a small portion of that.
And what does the population look like in some of those areas? Can you just kind of break them down by area?
Sure. So St. August, so St. Johns County, so it runs from the Atlantic Ocean to the river. And so, like I said, you have Ponte Vedra, St. John's, Florida, and then St. Augustine is the majority of it. And so St. Augustine, there's a city of St. Augustine, which is where the historic district is. It's basically the city. It's the oldest city in the nation, actually. And there's about 17,000 people that live in the city district. And then as far as the county as a whole, you're looking at about 265,000 as of 2019, but it's definitely grown since then because there's a lot of building going on within St. Johns County, more of the northern portion of St. Johns County. And there are a lot of people moving here. So I'm sure that number has changed since then.
What do the price ranges look like in those areas?
So it's tough. There's the prices have definitely increased by 10 to 15% in the past year. In the city of St. Augustine, it's expensive. I mean, you're not going to get much for 350,000. You can get a great condo for probably in the low twos. But as far as a single family home, you really need to be at 400,000 and up. And that includes Anastasia Island, which is where St. Augustine Beach, Crescent Beach, Butler Beach is. You definitely need to be above 350 for anything good. If you want to be like in the historic district and you want something small, like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, then you could probably get something in the 300s. As far as the county goes, there's so much building going on but even with the new builds, you're still looking at the low threes to high threes for something nice, like a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, or a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, like 17 to 2,000 square feet. If you want to go bigger, all the builders are different. So we have a number of builders. Mastercraft is as higher end, real attention to detail, beautiful homes, and you're looking at probably high threes and up from there. And some communities are geared towards that type of a home. So just bigger homes, maybe the lots are a little bit bigger, but then you have the other communities that are focused more on families. So the houses might be really close together, smaller lots, but you're still looking at that 350 range for a decent sized house for a family.
Do you have a lot of properties that are on the water or waterfront, and what are those price ranges looking like?
Yeah, so if you're looking for waterfront, single family homes are very expensive. So you're probably looking at 800 and up. If you're looking at, or even with a view, you're looking at that price. But for mainly the waterfront is condos, and they're not big high-rise condos. They're more like 3-floor or 4-floor condo buildings. So you're looking at, for like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, you're looking at between 350 and 400. And up from there. If it can be, there's a lot of vacation rentals here. So if it's an investment property, the prices will be higher because you can make some good money off of those condos for vacation rental.
Okay. And what do the taxes look like?
So the county tax rate is $13.57. So on a median home of 320,000, because that's the median average median price, you're looking at about $4,000 in property taxes. Now, if you add the homestead exemption, which everybody gets, you would save a couple $100 a year. But then there are additional exemptions, like whether you're a widow or a veteran or a senior citizen, that adds more exemptions off of the assessed value, which bring your taxes down.
Someone is looking to relocate from the Chicagoland area or from Illinois, maybe even other states. Something that I know people are worried about is their homeowner's insurance or their insurance because of hurricanes or things like that. So what is your insurance rate? So on a typical year, what might you pay for homeowner's insurance to have coverage for a natural disaster like a hurricane?
Yeah. So not every community in St. Augustine's in a flood zone or hurricane kind of area where you'd have to worry about it. So mainly the people that get the coverage, the higher coverage for insurance is it's for flood zones. So that's going to be the beach area. There's a couple of great neighborhoods around the historic district, and then the historic district itself is basically flood zone AE. So if there's a history of flooding, it can be very expensive, flood insurance. So for example, I have a friend who has a house in a flood prone neighborhood called Davis Shores. Her house has never flooded because it's the base level is 8.9 feet. So her house has never flooded, but she does pay $1,200 a year for flood insurance anyway. So on top of her homeowner's insurance. So it can be very expensive. So if there's a history of flooding, you could be paying double or even triple that for your flood insurance. And now recently, it's sort of like two strikes with flood insurance. So for example, if you've flooded in Matthew and Irma, those two hurricanes, those were back to back, 2016 and 17, I think. If you flooded in both of those and put in a claim to have your house basically redone, because that's what would happen. That third time, if something happened, the insurance companies were going to have the homeowner has to comply. So whether they raise the house or do some sort of waterproofing, but they'd have to comply somewhat because it's not just a free renovation every time. So things are changing there, and homeowners insurance in general is going up. More recently, I heard that some people's insurance has gone up $700 a year. So it's definitely going up here. So that is definitely something to consider if you want to be in the historic district and kind of walking distance to everything. Then you kind of pay for that. You pay for that, that kind of lifestyle. But if you don't need to be, definitely choose Flood Zone X. That way you can keep your insurance payments lower, premiums lower.
Can you tell me, what does the transportation and traffic look like in those areas? Are these heavily trafficked, real busy areas?
No, I mean, I'm originally from New York, so nothing to me is heavily trafficked compared to that. But and then you're in Chicago, so you probably feel the same way.
Right.
But we do have times of the year where it gets very busy. So the historic district will get it's touristy because it is the oldest city. So that'll get very busy in the month of December. Because of the Nights of Lights. A lot of people come in for that. So, and they drive into town. So it's just very, very busy that month. And then in general in the area, I mean, there's a lot of, people are living here and there's a lot of people moving in here. So you'll have like US 1 might get busy during those sort of those rush hour hours, more in the evening time, because that's where all the shopping is as well. And it's just the main thoroughfare going north and south. But as far as and that's all around sort of the older area because it's all older infrastructure. But when you go to the newer area of St. Johns County where they're building newer communities, it's all newer roads. There's more lanes, and there's no traffic out that way. Now, if you're commuting to Jacksonville, that's another story because you're on the highway and you're dealing with the busy rush hours there. But other than that, there's not a lot of traffic here.
If someone was visiting the area, say they're interested in relocating to the area, what would you recommend? There's something that they definitely should come and see when they come to visit.
So I have a lot of people calling me and come in wanting to move here, interested in moving here, but they've never been here. So it's really going to depend on what their needs are going to be. So obviously, if you're going to come visit, you got to visit the historic district because it is beautiful and there's a lot of history there. So it's always fun and it's very vacation like. But most likely, the people that are moving here aren't going to live there. So it's going to depend on their needs. So if it's a family and they have kids, they probably want to look into the school districts to see what interests them the most, and then check out those communities and the amenities that are in those communities that are nearby. If it's someone looking to retire, I would say just check out the areas close to, in a close proximity to things that you enjoy in your life. So whether it's the beach or shopping or whatever it is, because there's so much here and there's so many different communities to live in. There's a lot to explore. So it'll always be dependent upon, their lifestyle and what their needs will be.
Would you recommend that they would have a consultation with you as a realtor before they come down to kind of pinpoint their needs and then you could guide them?
Yeah, so that's kind of how I start. I always, I do Zoom calls and or just phone calls, but that's how I've been dealing with people who've never been here, and we just sort of kind of talk about what they're looking for in a house. And a lot of people focus on the house, but I focus more on the location that's going to fit their needs more because you can't move a house, but you can always find one in the right location. So we kind of talk about, what they enjoy doing. Some people want to be able to walk to a restaurant. That's important to them. So they're not going to want to be in the northwest corner of the county because it's not walkable. You have to get in a car for everything. So it's things like that. And then I typically will create an email with different communities that they'll want to check out. So when they come to town, usually I'll drive them around and we'll spend the day and we'll drive around and go check out the different areas. And then they'll feel the vibe of any area that we go to and know whether it's a good fit or not. So that's typically how I go. I sort of just educate them about the areas. They could do some research on their own due diligence. And then when they come to town, we spend the day and kind of go around and whether it's a good fit or not, they might find St. Augustine's not a good fit for me. And that's fine. But at least, they spent the time to, figure it out first rather than just buy something for the sake of buying something, thinking that it's the right place. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. I find even locally, if someone's moving from a different area, to have that buyer consultation to kind of talk through what they're looking for is really important. And I think now that we have, so much information at buyers' fingertips, I think they tend to try to research on their own. And I think that is great, but it's also really helpful to have somebody to help you to narrow down what your needs are.
Right.
And that can
And that's what I
yeah.
I try to steer them in the right direction. So like yesterday I had somebody come in he just doesn't want to waste my time. He's just taking the time to kind of explore the area. So we met and then I kind of sent him to different communities based on what he was telling me. And I heard from him last night and he liked 2 of them. So now I'll sort of, focus his search on those areas going forward, kind of a thing. So
what do you feel is the best time of year to move to your area?
It's so different because when I started real estate, it was in New Hampshire, but and that was like a spring market was the good market. But here it's all year really, because you have the people that come down for the winter time and then you have the families that move in wanting to get in for the school district. So it'll just be dependent on what works for them. I would probably not enjoy moving in the summer because it's hot. So just, emptying a truck and doing all of that might be just cumbersome in the heat. I might avoid the holidays because it tends to get busier here during the holidays. But, I think the spring and the fall is a wonderful time. Although in the fall, you might get hurricanes. So who knows?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So usually a family can get in before August. So by July, they want to get in. But spring is always a nice time to move.
Okay.
The winter too. The winter is good here.
Okay. And what would be the first step if someone is interested in moving to your area? Would they just call you, or how would they get that started?
Yeah, they could just reach out. They could call me. They could email me. We'll connect in some way. So as long as they reach out, I will reach out to them, and then we'll schedule a time to chat, or do a Zoom call, and we could just talk a little bit about more what they're looking for. If they've ever been here, we'll talk a little bit about what they're looking for to figure out where they want to be. And if they have been here, then which is great, then they already have an idea, and then I can kind of, direct them on what the market's doing and things like that.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, I'll definitely put your information in the description box down below. So if anyone wants to relocate to your area, they can reach out and you guys can set up that buyer consultation.
That'd be great.
Well, thank you so much for all of this valuable information. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to educate us on your market, and hopefully we'll be seeing you again soon.
I hope so. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye. To download a copy of my Relocating to Florida guide, click the link in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.